I wanted to be able to start here with a story, as a story of somebody who decided to go ahead and run for office. You might be able to guess who I'm talking about. 10 years ago, I don't think I would have ever been able to tell you that I would be in this position today. In fact, it was just a little over 4 years ago that I decided to run for office for the first time. In hindsight, having been up against a 12-year incumbent, I don't know if I would have done it. But I just wanted to be able to make a change, make a difference. And really one of the main reasons why is the idea behind this talk. It is the importance of city and resident collaboration. And what exactly is collaboration? Well, it's the act of working together to create or achieve something. And so if you look at this picture, you know, this might conjure up images such as this. You've got groups working together, they're rolling up the sleeves. This is actually pertaining to some transportation initiatives to look at transportation throughout our county to include transit options. And so when we talk about the importance of collaboration, of resident engagement, you know, those cities that actually do employ methods of collaboration that really engage and ask for participation from their residents do a number of things. One, they can conduct surveys. I found in our city that prior to the survey that we had conducted just in this last January, it had been over 10 years since a survey had actually been conducted. Another thing they can do is to encourage two-way communication. So instead of just informing people and pushing out information, to actually engage people in a conversation. The other thing that cities can and should do that seek collaborative efforts is to ask for participation from their residents through such things as committees, as service projects, and through volunteering. There are all kinds of opportunities to be able to do that. We will be doing that this year in our city when it comes to redoing our general plan and also community visioning projects that really talk about what we want to see in our city going forward. So really when you think about the concept of being collaborative, it kind of is common sense. I mean, practical experience and just a general view would state, you know, that you would much rather live in a city that is collaborative than one that is not. You know, ask yourself this question: would you like to live in an environment where your opinion is never sought or asked? No. The question is no. The answer is no. So then the question becomes, well, then why is that so rare? Why is it such a rarity that opinions are sought by elected officials and by city officials of residents that live in their cities? I've come up with a few different reasons why, based on my experience. Reason number one, I think, is a just general misconception of the office that one holds. Oftentimes, people that are elected as representatives feel like, okay, I have now been elected, and it is now my thoughts, my ideas, my actions that really should be driving the agenda. And it is this misperception that I think lends to the lack of collaboration that we see so often in cities. It isn't so much that, yes, you were elected to represent the people and to be able to set, I think, the larger the larger context or the larger agenda, but the actual how, the implementation needs to occur with input from your constituents. Another reason is low voter turnout. We, as residents, this is a participatory process. If we want collaboration to occur, it is a two-way street. Sadly, it is not uncommon to see less than 15% voter turnout in municipalities. In fact, there was a recent study that was done by Portland State University that showed that of the top 200 metropolitan areas and cities, only about 15% of people actually vote. And we're talking about your cities here. This is where the rubber really meets the road, and where there is more impact, I would argue, and I would contend, that there's more impact in your individual lives that comes from the policies that are created at the city level than there are back in Washington, D.C. And yet we have such low voter turnout. If we have a 50% turnout, that's actually viewed as an enormous success. Just to put it into some context, in Riverton City here, we have, in this last mayoral race, we actually approached 50%. Whereas historically, we've only been in the 20% range. So of all eligible voters, only about 20% that have been voting. And I think that one of the reasons why we had a larger turnout this year was because we made this topic of collaboration a central issue in the campaign. Reason number 3 that I'll offer up is just mistrust and apathy. In addition to low voter turnout, you have so many, the mindset that's very prevalent amongst eligible voters is, well, why vote? It doesn't make a difference. In fact, another poll that was recently done showed that in LA County alone, 67%, over 2/3 of the people that were polled that were eligible to vote, indicated the reason they're not voting is because it doesn't make a difference. So, another reason that I'll offer up is communication. I like this quote from George Bernard Shaw that says, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's actually taken place." And I've seen that so often in negotiations, in communications with residents. So, let's move on to how do cities then best collaborate with residents? And I would contend that the first point you have to do is really ask. That's something that I made a pivotal part of this last campaign in the city, is to ask. Offering up surveys, having online and offline forums, opportunities for engagement. I think first and foremost, public officials are public. They should be in the public, and they should be communicating with the public. That is a leadership thing. We need to be able to really lead on that. The other way in which cities can foster a collaboration and a really collaborative environment is to leverage technology. Now, we have a number of new technologies that we need to be embracing that can really engage the public much more so than they've ever been. We are, here at Riverton City, we're implementing a few of those now. We'll be rolling out a new mobile application, for example, that gives residents not just the opportunity to report a problem, but to also provide feedback and be a real engagement mechanism. In addition to that, we're also leveraging technology through a new website where it gives forums and opportunities for people to come and discuss ideas. Electronic newsletters. A city can be a curator, an aggregator of information, and be able to present that to residents in a format that's easily consumed. And so having something every other week that we distribute to residents that shows what is going on with the city in a way that they can move to action right away. One thing that we found, and this was through a best practice at another city, is to conduct what we're doing now every week called the Mayor's Minute. It's a short little minute video segment that we put on our social media and our website that just tells people what is going on. You know, here's what is going on in the week. And we've had a tremendous feedback with this. We also can live stream council meetings. We can do other meetings as well. Let's not just force people to come to City Hall. Let's take City Hall to them. And we can do that via live stream over the internet. And I would also say that we need to create opportunities for volunteerism and engagement. What we are doing now at Riverton City, also we are creating committees. Our council had recently created an ordinance that allows the mayor to create these standing committees that were focused on originally with economic development, with parks and recreation, with events and emergency preparedness. And this will allow more residents to be involved and engaged in the policymaking process and feel like they are really contributing to the city. Focus groups and open houses also provide those types of opportunities. So I would just say that being in a building an environment or fostering an environment or city that has a really collaborative relationship with its residents is not rocket science. It's not hard. It's just something that does need to be done. And I think it can be through just leading, asking for it, using the correct technology to leverage and be collaborative, and then to host opportunities for volunteerism and engagement through such things as committees. And I would just encourage all of you to be active in the community and to reach out and find ways to participate. And thank you.